Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and new month, new Civivi knives. And I've got 3 of them here that actually have safety as a common theme. The first one is the Purr. This is an Ostap design. I've featured his designs on the channel before, but obviously a cool little cat motif. You could think of maybe the pocket clip as the tail, or it does come with this lanyard installed, so that helps deal with a small knife, but it also could be a tail, however you want to look at it. And you've got 2 screws up at the top end that obviously make eyes, and the ears, well, one of them is the flip lever, and you hit it or scratch its ear and out pops this 1.8 inch reverse Tonto Nitro V black stone washed blade. Cool little knife. The whole thing's only 1.5 ounces, and there is no lock, and that's kind of the safety side of it. This does not lock. I think it's less safe, but there are all kinds of environments where you're not allowed to have a lock blade knife, and maybe you could carry this. Comes in about 4 different colors. I got the purple G10, kind of a neat little pocket knife, wire pocket clip, and a lot of fun. So that's kind of a little bit of a departure in ways for Civivi, making kind of an animal-themed knife. They do use a lot of animals in their product names, though. But anyway, so there it is, the Purr. The next one is this thing. It's kind of fun. This, I think, is called the Dracolisk, is how you'd pronounce it. And what this is a flipper or a butterfly knife that I'm going to learn how to use. And why? Well, because it's a trainer. There is nothing sharp or pointed on this blade. Now, that might be a little difficult to swallow for some people because it's $117 full retail, and $99 and change is probably the street price. So, by the way, the Purr is probably going to be about $50 on the street. But anyway, this is a training knife, and what's good about it is you can play around. It's like a fidget tool. Actually, you could do some work. I imagine, it's kind of like a paper pry bar. You can pry paper with it, I guess. But I wanted something that I could play around with and practice. I don't do butterfly knives. I don't think I've ever had one on the channel. But I do have friends who are just flipping them around, trying different tricks. There's a whole bunch of people on YouTube that show you different ways to flip them around. There's history behind it. But anyway, this is a high-end butterfly trainer. Obviously, beautiful orange scales. That's what I wanted, something nice and bright, but you can also get it in like black and silver and another color. This has a satin finished blade of 9 CR18 MOV, if that matters. And the only reason I could think it matters is if maybe you got really good at it and then you wanted to put an edge on this, because it's definitely a fully functioning knife just without the finish work. In fact, it looks a lot like a blank that comes out, except it's beautiful. Anyway, it uses bronze washers, so it is a very smooth pivot there. It's about 4.2 ounces total weight, and it's got essentially that kind of clip point, kind of a classic design. But there are tons of good butterfly knives out. They usually command quite a bit of money, unfortunately. I don't know why, but anyway, so I have practiced a few things. I won't try it on camera and embarrass myself, but there are all sorts of different ways of flipping this and rotating it and kind of... Anyway, I like fidgety things, and that's what this thing actually will do. So if you want a trainer, looking for a good high-quality trainer, and that's the training part is important. If you get a junk trainer or just a non-functioning knife that might have the wrong weight or the wrong feel, the skills won't transfer as well to when you actually are trying to do it with a sharp knife. But no sharp knife here. And the last one here is called the Braxx. And this is Sencut, which is the sister company, a sister company to Civivi. It's usually kind of in tech transfer, it drops down. So this would be their more affordable brand. And then the Wii knife would be the ones that are above the Civivi brand. But anyway, this is Sencut's very first Slipjoint knife. This is going to sell street price for about $37. You can see that nice green micarta there. It's a D2 steel blade. Should say that somewhere on there. There it is, down there, right there. Very smooth operation, giant fingernail cutout there. It doesn't go all the way through, and it's got that stop. And I don't know if that's a rule or what. It's actually something that is mentioned. The half stop for added safety is what Civivi says. But in a lot of places, there is a term called gravity knife, and that has to do with whether or not there's any way to open it one-handed, with a flick, a twist. Some knives you can actually hold the blade and flick the handle, so even though you might not be able to get it out with a thumb stud or something else, it ends up preventing you from being able to carry it because it's a gravity knife. Obviously, these are, because I've got a flipper that easily gets it out quick, or this obviously flips it out. But this one, I'd have to hit probably 3 G's to, and I don't think I could hold on to it at that point, even though it's not terribly heavy. It's only 1.5, or no, this one here is about 3.5 ounces. I just can't figure out a way to get it out, to flick it out without literally pulling that blade out. So that's apparently another thing that some environments require, is no way to get it out easily one-handed. I think I can get it out one-handed. Try not to hurt myself. Probably will. But anyway, the idea behind it is, you can't get that kind of switchbladey snap feel. So that's why they still have slip joint knives. No lock and unable to open it one-handed. I always remember that scene in the Eiger Sanction, Clint Eastwood's movie, kind of an adventure. He's out there climbing and they got to cut a rope, and the French guy pulls out a switchblade and can do it, and there's Clint Eastwood hanging there in the middle of winter in the snowstorm, trying to open up his Swiss Army knife with 2 hands. Good grief. But anyway, so there it is, the Sencut Bracks. Cool little knife, nice and solid. You can see that they are saving money compared to some of the Civivis, but if you want a good slip joint, nice micarta, quality steel, and in this shape, there you go. Let me know your thoughts. And with that, Doc out.